Come on. There we go. All right. Good deal. Got her going. It's going live. There we go. Okay, I gotta take a picture of that. I gotta remember to take a picture of that. There, I'm on there. All right, good deal. Okay, we should be good to go. Sorry for the delay. I forgot to refresh. This should. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Good deal. So I started this. So there's something new with this deal, and if I don't refresh my browser, it puts the date. So it was showing up another one of the 18th. You might have noticed that there's some, especially if you're not watching live, and you're coming back. There's some times where the date was wrong. Like there was 2 dates in a row. Morning, Jared Cook. Morning, Katie. Morning, Danny Vasquez. Morning, Joel Parks. Ashley, Tiffany, Brandon, Boyd, Pete. Morning, Daryl. Morning, Michelle. Dylan, Sherman, good morning. Bobby Seedorf. Morning, Cynthia. Morning, Joe Craig. Oh, Misty, good morning. Ross, good morning. Good morning, Wendy. Morning, Mom. Boy, it's a good day. I'm ready to roll in some more scripture. Been enjoying this study from Psalms. I hope you are too. Morning, Scott. I think it's pretty cool to go through the Psalms, and morning, Barbara. I'm going to get on into the Word since I'm already running behind. Let's jump in over on Psalms 127. I picked this psalm because it's got a lot of highlights in it, but it's only 5 verses long. So in part, that's convenient for our study because that way I'm not having to cover or sort through a lot of verses. I try to keep these really short. But here in Psalms 127, so interesting thing about this is one of the 2 psalms that are Solomon's, David's son. Solomon wrote the book of the Songs of Solomon and Ecclesiastes, but these were brought into the Psalm book, or the book of Psalms. So verse 1 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the work of the builder is wasted." I think the King James says is done in vain. Unless the Lord protects the city, guarding it with sentries will do no good. It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food to eat, for God gives rest to His loved ones. Children are a gift from the Lord, they are a reward from Him. Children born to a young man are like arrows in a warrior's hand. How joyful it is the man who has a quiver full of them. He will not be put to shame when he is confronted by his accusers at the city gates. So there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, you could take this a lot of different directions, I think, and focus on different aspects of this. Solomon is covering a lot of ground in just a few verses here. But I want to take that first verse because it says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, the work of the builder is wasted." So all the effort, all the work, all the things that we do. I was driving down Wood Road east of Wacomas one day, and just a blacktop, farm to market type road, and I saw I passed one farm, and it was an old farm that had been bought by a younger family. But that man who had built that, it was an old dairy, had a big silo there, had pens, had barns, had all these structures, but they were older. They'd been, they'd probably been built in the 40s, 50s, 60s, something like that maybe. I mean, even this place that I'm on, there's a barn out here, that my old barn, that I've got to get some tin on to keep it, but it's a really cool old barn. It has the big loft with the grapple and the big ropes and the conveyor that, the system that would grab loose hay and carry it up and put it and pack that top of that huge barn, and then they just feed it down into the the mangers for a dairy. It was an old dairy barn. Like a lot of those old barns from that time period, they were built with full 2-inch instead of 1.5 boards. If it was a 2x8, it was 2 inches by 8 inches, not the 1.5 by 7.5. There's material in that barn. The structure is amazing. It's been there more than 100 years or somewhere around that. I don't know exactly when it was built, but that building, I don't even know who built it. I don't know the men who built it. That history of that barn has been lost because the family we bought this from had gone through it. Sadly, I don't know anybody that knows the history and knew the men that built that, the first ones who milked in it, all of that history. Now there's handwritten, cool thing about my barn is there's handwritten notes in pencil: feed the roan steer 1 gallon of feed, and it's dated 1942. So I know that barn is 80 plus years old, and the fact that that's written on there and still seen, it probably was built many years before that. We build things, but everything we build that doesn't impact the kingdom of God is going to be lost at some point. There's going to be a generation. I mean, I have land that is in our family that is, my kids are the 5th generation or the 6th generation. I forget, we figured it up. I think the 5th generation. Well, I'm continuing on that land, but their structure's gone. There's an old well that's dug. I'm giving you all these examples because I want you to see that in generations from now, if Jesus doesn't return and we continue on as we are, there are going to be things that you build and work and try to do that are going to be lost. But what things will continue? The influence, the impact, the things that you built into people, the things that we passed on to the next generation, and not just our kids, not just our own family. Sometimes what you can do, I mean, I had people that impacted my life tremendously. Some of them I don't even remember their name. I can't picture their face, but the impact lasted. The influence lasted. The men who taught me what not to do and what to do in my life, and so both were important and had an impact. Verse 2 says this: "It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food to eat, for God gives rest to His loved ones." So he's saying, don't waste your time that you're pouring in to build a kingdom that's going to be lost. Make sure that you balance your life. Now, he's not saying don't work hard. You know I don't teach that. He's not saying don't build things and don't put effort out. All of those things are fine. Just make sure that you keep it in a godly, scriptural, and biblical balance, so that it's not grinding you down, wearing you out, and you losing contact with your family and your kids. Because children, it says in verse 3, children are a gift from the Lord, and they are a reward from Him. Children born to a young man are like arrows in a warrior's hand. How joyful is the man who has a quiver full of them. He will not be put to shame when he confronts his accusers at the city gates. So we see there he's tying in or illustrating that balancing our life. Now, some of you might be at a point in your life where you look back and you go, "Man, I wish I'd have taken more time. I wish I hadn't spent so much time at work, or building my career, building my kingdom." That your kids, I mean, we see this in agriculture all the time. There's those who just they leave the farm. Their grandparents and their parents, maybe 4 generations, have built land and corrals and barns, and that's what I was seeing when I was driving down Wood Road. Is here was something that was no longer in that family. Now, sadly, that happens, and sometimes the people who inherit it don't take it and continue it, and we shouldn't feel like we have to all the time, but building into their lives something that continues on. And so in some cases it's the best thing. They go off and they do great things in the world, but the point here is bringing that balance, striking that balance, making sure that you pour into your relationships, the people around you, the families, the opportunities that you have, making sure that we're building all of our life. That first verse, we build a house that for the Lord, unless the Lord builds the house. Well, how do we do that? We bring God into all of our decisions, all of our faith, our trust, our prayer, our time with God. All of those things tie in to what we do. Work hard, absolutely. I'm not saying this is not a condoning laziness. The Bible's full of don't be lazy, don't be a slacker. Doesn't use that word, but that's what it's saying. But make a determination that we're going to work hard, but we're bringing God into it so that we balance it. In other words, allow God to at times adjust your life so that you create that time. Know that God is your source. You are going to provide. Doesn't mean He's going to provide for the one who doesn't work, right? It says you don't work, you don't eat. But it's important that we bring that balance and bring God into it. Unless the Lord protects the city, guarding it with sentries will not do good. So bringing God into the protection of your things, of your investments, of your financial position, all of those things. I titled this "Rich" because rich in life is more than finances and money. The two of those, God gives you money as a tool. It's something that we don't serve and we don't work for that as our primary purpose. But our primary purpose is to serve God. And within that, God enables us to have a rich life. And the devil comes to steal, kill, and to destroy. John 10:10 says, but Jesus comes to give you life and life more abundant. And so some of these Psalms are teaching us what to do. Other parts of them, like this one, are teaching us what not to do as much as it is what to do. Bring God into every part of that. That's one of the reasons I love at the beginning of the year to just analyze and look at my life and to set goals for the coming year. It gives me an opportunity to reflect. But I can't just do that in January. I need to do that all throughout my planning times and my work. Is God, I want your direction, your protection, your guidance, because I want to do things God's ways, in God's way, so I get God's result. So it's the culmination of all that. Psalms 37:4, delight yourself in the Lord and He'll give you the desires of your heart. Commit your ways, verse 5, commit your ways to Him and He'll bring it to pass. So it brings God in the equation with all that you do. What a glorious, amazing, incredible life we live when we walk this way. Are you going to have trouble? Are you going to have problems? Are you going to make mistakes? Are you going to... all that stuff happens because we're human beings. We live in a fallen earth with a fallen, those around us that are not walking. If we were all walking with God, it'd be good. But we're having to deal with people who are very much opposed and going against. So anyway, think about that as you go through your day. I'm going to wrap this up. It's useless for you to work so hard from early morning to late at night anxiously. Now there's a key part to this. Anxiously working for food and eat. Building faith to trust God doesn't mean that you're being complacent, lackadaisical, living life without intention. But there's a difference between being driven by fear and anxiety and being consistent, stable, and determined based on, God, you are my source, and I'm going to do what I need to do in order to receive all those blessings. And then when abundance comes, blessing comes, prosperity comes, when all those things come, you have it from God. You don't get caught up into pride, and you immediately see it as, okay, God, how can I bless others? What can I do with this? And it's easy to give it away, parts of it, pieces of it, because you know God gave it to you in the first place. So when you bring all those together, I didn't get to it. We may go to tomorrow out of over in Matthew chapter 6, where Jesus said you can't serve God and money, but you can trust God for all your needs. And anyway, I got to wrap it up. But you guys be blessed today. Live rich in the things of God, and the things of this world will be a pleasure and not bring pressure and anxiety. Go get them for Jesus. Love y'all. Well, we hit 40 live. That's good. That's pretty cool. I don't necessarily set goals, but we've not. I don't think we've done that before. So you were here today. I'm going to say hi to a few folks. Sorry for the late start. I was having a glitch in my computer. But good morning, Tammy. Morning, Jana. Brad Mays. Good morning, Mary Gaff. Good morning. I think I've said hi to most everybody else. Probably missing a few. Travis Gubernet, good morning. Morning, Regina. I said hi to most of you at the beginning, and I don't want to spend too much time. Some of you got to get off here because you got to get to work, and so just always love seeing who's on. Mara, I think I said hi, but want to make sure. Good people, y'all. Excuse me. You guys go out and live for God today. Have a good one.